posted by our very wonderful Sterling Aviation Early College High School, and that includes Guardian Bush, Koyea Holloman, Anna Silver, and Ruby Grandos, and of course, Lieutenant Colonel Robert Glover. Let us welcome them now, the Sterling Aviation Early College High School ROTC.
Right face. Order arms. Ready, cut. Carry color. Ready, cut. Freeze and color.
If the Sterling High School can lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll now have the national anthem by Angel Sylvester, a musical artist here in Houston, Texas. I see him. He's supposed to be. Excuse me. He's supposed to write that. Supposed to write.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the brave.
Thank you so very much, Miss Sylvester. Thank you so very much.
Forward, march.
Thank you very much to Sterling High School for providing us with that recognition and the salute to our flag. Thank you to Ms. Sylvester for the tribute through our national anthem. We now will have an invocation. Is Mr. Alex here? Then we'll have the invocation by Pastor Sidney, whose son is a decades-long member of the United States military. Pastor Lewis Sidney.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Would you please bow your heads? Our Heavenly Father, we come once and again thanking you, first and foremost, for the care and protection that you have given this great nation. We also thank you for all of those who have served in our military and have stood the gate to keep us safe and help us to know that we are protected because they are there. We ask you now, Lord, help us to never forget those who have sacrificed their lives to keep us safe in this country, the greatest country in the world. And then always remember those who are still standing in the gap between us and the harm that will come to us, that will allow us to sleep at night in peace and comfort and not worry that we are saved. We realize that it's all in your hands, but you have given them the wherewithal to know how important it is to stand the gap. Your holy word says, no greater love than a man have that he will sacrifice his life for his friend. So we're here today to remember all of those who have sacrificed for us. Now we ask that as this service continues, you would give us the grace and wisdom to be able to do it in a way that is pleasing to you. Thank you in Jesus' name. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. It's my privilege to ask Mr. James Little to come forward with God Bless America. Mr. James Little. Come around. Thank you very much. It's a little windy here, so bear with us. I do want to acknowledge Sergeant Charles L. Williams, retired United States Army. And I believe he is there with us in his green uniform. And if we can highlight him, if he's able to be helped up. We are honored to have you here, sir. And honored for your service. Do you want to share your age with us, sir? 74. We are so grateful for your service. Give him a hand, please. We'd like to acknowledge all of the veterans who are here. Would you raise your hand if you have served? We thank you so very much for your service. I started this morning by indicating the responsibility of freedom, and we're here today because of that responsibility, that we did not want this day to go. Standing in front of the World War II Memorial that was led by many who have now gone on in the Heights community, and as a member of the Houston City Council, I was privileged to be a part of the building, of the supporting of the building of this monument, it continues to remain as a tribute not only to those in this community who died in World War II, but a tribute and a symbol to all who have died in battle. In my words, their sacrifice of death should never be forgotten, never to be dismissed, never to be ignored, and never, never to be trampled on, but always remembered and always honored. That is why we are here today, to ensure that those who have fallen in battle, from one battle to the next, beginning in the early days of the American Revolution, we have had brave men and women to put on the uniform and fallen in battle. And we have lost hundreds of thousands in the battlefields of Europe and Vietnam, Korea, and many places beyond, and even on our own soil. In the course of those horrific loss of life have been families left behind. I honor those families today. I honor those gold mothers today. I honor those families who now still, every Memorial Day, are pained by the loss of that loved one. But we as Americans can never fail to be reminded of their greatness. We can never be more grateful, a more grateful nation in the course of those who are lost. In 2020, we have a moment in history that we are too going through COVID-19, where almost 100,000 Americans have lost their life, 1,000 veterans. Even in the course of this time, our soldiers wearing the uniform, our Texas National Guard, the National Guard, has stood up to stand in the gap for all of us as we fight this terrible pandemic. But we could not allow Memorial Day to be trampled on by a pandemic. We could not ignore the value and the importance of this day. And so in this month of May, as we acknowledge the debt that we are owed, let us be a grateful nation. Let us stop and say thank you to a veteran. Let us place a flag and acknowledge those who have fallen. For me, it is the experience I had in visiting Normandy to see the rows and rows and rows of those fallen in battle who never, never were able to return home. We honored them there, but we will take always in our hearts those who lay under little white crosses, many of them never returning home. Those who did come home, we should make sure that we as Americans spend a moment in reflection for all of them. I want to say that the idea of honoring all of these very important persons comes with a sense, again, of responsibility. That responsibility, of course, is that we should do something. And as we do something, I hope that we will remember these words. Oh, you who sleep in Flanders fields, sleep sweet to rise anew. We caught the torch you threw, and holding high, we keep the faith with all who died. The greatest honor is a man or woman who lays down his life to serve and to protect someone else. And so today, we remember and honor, and we're reminded that we keep the faith for all who died. We remember and honor. Thank you. It's my privilege to be able to bring Houston's mayor, great leadership and great sense of commitment to all of us, the mayor of the city of Houston, Mayor Sylvester Turner, for his remarks.
Thanks, Congresswoman, and I certainly want to thank her. This is the 13th consecutive year for this Congressional Memorial Day celebration, and I want to thank her for her leadership, and certainly for recognizing the sacrifice of so many hundreds of thousands of veterans and the price that they have paid. And it is good to be here today with our state representative, Anna Eastman, and city council member at large, David Robinson, and so many, many others, and to be with all of you. Let me just say that this city is a grateful city. We have probably, I think, the second largest population of veterans that live in our city than any other place in the United States. We are only second to LA, to the LA region. And I think in large part, we value our veterans and we recognize the contributions that they have made. Today, we certainly honor and pay tribute to those who have fallen, but this is one day in which we lift them up. Those who have fallen, we lift them up to say that we will never forget them. And so to the hundreds of thousands who have paid the ultimate price, who have made it possible for us to assemble right here in this square, make it possible for people to come down to City Hall and voice their views, make it possible for all of us to vote regardless of our political affiliation. This is the day in which we pay honor to them. It doesn't matter who you are, your ethnicity, your faith, your religion. The reality is men and women have fought for our country and for each and every one of us to be able to exercise our right. Freedom is not free, and it comes with a high, high price. And so if you want to be blessed, it's important for us to remember and lift up those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. And last, on a personal note, I've had 3 brothers who have served in the military, one of whom is no longer with us. And I certainly want to lift him up because just like he served in the military when he came home disabled, he was right there taking good care of my mom and so many others. And so people in our military serve not only away outside of the country, but they are serving right here, during Harvey, right here on the front line, during this pandemic, right here on the front line, in our fire department, in our police department, municipal departments. They are right here serving each and every day. So Congresswoman, thank you again for this very, very special celebration. And we lift all of them up, and we will remember the work and the sacrifice that they've made on behalf of our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, very much. We are taking an opportunity to be able to honor the National Guard, the Texas National Guard, as we take moments to honor the fallen. We've always said that when the nation is in need, they come to our aid. Before we begin our honoring of the National Guard, we'd like to lift you for the things that they do and that all of those who are first responders and others do through a song by Sylvester, The Impossible Dream.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest to follow that star. for the right, without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for that heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, then my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this, that one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable star, to reach the unreachable star.
You're beautiful. Thank you so very much. Yes, sir. Thank you. You don't wash the hands or you wash the hands. We wanted to take a moment to pay tribute to the National Guard, the Texas National Guard. Many of you have seen them in their work in the battle that we're facing now. We have a brief video in tribute, and then I will introduce our Chief Master Sergeant, who will come forward to say a few words. Do we have the video? You have to put it up on the stage.
One Station Unit Training is the new program that they're doing where you perform all of your training at one station. We come here for 9 weeks for basic training, and then usually they have an AIT after it, but they changed it to OSIT, which is going to be 14 weeks for us. Some of the advantages to OSIT training would be not having to go to a different place to train, so you have breaks in between, you just keep training. There is red phase, which is the beginning phase where you are training a lot, learning to get your bodies in shape. And then white phase, you learn how to properly use your weapon and shoot. Blue phase is where you learn how to continue marksmanship and start with your field training exercises. For black phase, it's more for squads, so you're in like groups of 4. And gold phase, you go into where you're going with the whole platoon.
Let me thank Preston Middleton for that tribute. These fine soldiers were food bank protectors, food distribution warriors, testing warriors, just wherever we wanted them to be. Welcome to the podium, Command Chief Master Sergeant Michael Cornides, Texas National Guard. Give him a welcome.
Thank you. First and foremost, thank you, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, for hosting this event. And on behalf of Major General Tracy Norris, our Adjutant General for the state of Texas, over the National Guard, she sends her regards, and she is very appreciative that you're hosting this event again and have invited us to attend. So thank you very much. So one of the things I want to also reiterate is Congresswoman is a very big military supporter, and we know that. Any times that we have visited with her, she makes a point of coming to greet us if she is busy. I know on 3 separate occasions I've come up to see you, and she's been on the floor, and she has asked her people to bring us down so that we can visit with her, because we mean that much to her, and we know that, we feel that, so thank you very much. So our Texas National Guard right now, they are very involved in this current pandemic. They are out testing, as the Congresswoman said. They are out sanitizing. So at this moment, we have crews that are out sanitizing nursing homes. One of the big impacts they're having, they are testing at the meat packing plants. What that is doing is that is allowing food that is here in Texas to be able to be processed and sent out across the country. So this is not just affecting Texas. We are making a national impact on everything that is going on with our National Guard. There are some of the examples right here. These soldiers and airmen are currently serving on the COVID response. They are at the food bank. They are testing here in the Houston area, Del Mar Stadium, Butler Stadium, and various other points. They are very involved, and they're proud to be doing what they're doing, because ultimately, us as guardsmen, we are here to serve you, the state of Texas, along with the nation. So today, I want to leave you with these 3 little remarks. We want to be grateful today, we want to be thankful today, and we want to be hopeful today. We want to be grateful for those who lost their lives in the line of duty in supporting and defending our great nation. We want to be thankful for the families that supported those members in making that decision to defend our country. Without them, and without them behind those service members, this day would not happen, and we would not be able to continue in doing what we're doing. And the final thing is hopeful. We want to be hopeful that there will be a day that no one will lose their life in the line of duty. But should that happen, and should that occur, we know that our servicemen and women are stepping up and taking the oath voluntarily, selflessly, and defending each and every one of you. So every day, that is what we do, and that's what we're here for. Your National Guard is a big part of not only defending the country, but defending your state as you see today. So thank you very much for being here, and Congresswoman, thank you again from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much for your service. Thank you so very much. If we would like to make a presentation for the outstanding National Guard.
Get you a bigger podium.
I think that would help. Gentlemen, you're able to move just a bit so you can come and stand as we present this. Thank you so very much. Harmon and Davis, I'm reading Mendoza, Porter, I know I'm not giving rank, Rivera, and Landry. We're honored to have you here today. And to you, Sergeant, thank General Norris, but thank the Guard, National Guard, all over America. I have always advocated your seat at the Joint Chiefs table. We will have that working properly as it should be, and as well, having introduced legislation called the Buddy legislation to make sure we take care of our soldiers. I am honored to be able to present to you a certificate of congressional recognition to the Texas National Guard on the occasion of Memorial Day COVID-19 first responders remember and honor, and we are remembering and honoring those fallen, but we are thanking those who are continuing to serve, the men and women of the Texas National Guard. Texas National Guard has responded to at least 23 hurricanes, 36 floods, 23 winter storms, 64 wildfires, and a global pandemic within the past decade. You are a multitude of soldiers, air guards, Texas State Guardsmen working every day, and as you said, you're working throughout the nation. Governors have called upon you, presidents call upon you, and the people call upon you. And so it is my privilege to say to you, on behalf of the constituents of the 18th Congressional District and the United States Congress, I am very much in appreciation of all of the detachments and all of the efforts in fulfilling your mission. Your work and dedication is truly deserving of the respect, admiration, and commendation of the United States Congress of the United States of America.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman. I'm smiling, you can't tell. But.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you. My privilege now to allow us to be able to have our commemoration speaker as we present him before laying of the wreath. This year, I'm proud to honor and have as a speaker Sergeant Major James Williams, the last living Buffalo soldier. The Buffalo Soldiers are comprised of former slaves, freemen, and black Civil War soldiers. They were the first to serve during peacetime. Sergeant Major Williams served in the Korean War and did 4 tours in Vietnam. When he joined the Army in 1950, he, along with all his fellow black soldiers, was still not allowed to eat, sleep, or participate in the same activities with their fellow white soldiers. His challenges were not just the normal physical challenges of boot camp and military training, but also the emotional challenges of confronting the realities of racism and segregation. But here he is today, a proud, retired member of the United States military, a man who loves his country and who continues to serve as a Buffalo soldier. Would you allow Sergeant Major James Williams to say a brief word to us today? Sergeant Major, please come forward. We honor you.
I would like to say that Sheila Jackson Lee, we are blessed, and I'm glad that I fought for you to have the position that you have at this day and this time. You're the only Congresswoman that ever went into combat with truth, concern, and let them know how much you was concerned about them and about this country. I went to the United States Army at 15 years old in 1950. I trained segregated. I had to wear 2 different circumstances. I looked at something that meant a lot to me. I put out something. My word was, we was always needed but never wanted. The part never wanted was they never respected the thing that we did for this country in the situation that we did. But I'm very honored and proud to say that this country, regardless of what my color are, allowed me to wear the uniform of the United States Army. That uniform was nothing until I put it on, and once I put it on, it made me be something, and I made the uniform be something. It made me be a citizen, truly, of the United States of America, as well as ambassador defender of this country. I fought 4 combat tours in Vietnam, like she said. I was in the 101st Airborne Ranger Division. I had 240 combat jumps in both wars. My job was reconnaissance, and I was in the Ranger Division. I'm very honored that this country allowed me, for my color, to do what I did for this country. And I'm very pleased and very proud that for all men in the armed forces, regardless of race, creed, or color, that wear the uniform stand for what the uniform really stands for, which is a beautiful country. And I'm very honored and very pleased to always be with Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, because she's 100% for the armed forces and for veterans to do anything she can do. And I thank God that he allowed me to be the last of history. I looked at a little small country boy in a town that I didn't even recognize to be living history in this country today. And I thank God for it, and I thank Sheila Jackson for the remarks she said about me and the confidence that you have in me. God bless America, And let's everybody say it. God bless America. Because you're blessed to be in a country, have the right and freedom to do whatever you want to be. That's what we fight for.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Well, we could not leave you out, Master Sergeant. You are making history. Would you come and receive both your congressional certificate, which we will not read, but we want you to know that you are deserving of this flag that has been flown over the United States Congress in your United States Capitol in your honor, because you are the last living, but you are a true patriot and you love this country. Would you take that, sir? All right. And I believe we have an award for him. And this is your certificate that that has your name on it. That flag has been hoisted by the United States Capitol Police, even in these very challenging conditions. We'll put that right there. And then we want to make sure that we have given you the acknowledgement of duty. You are truly one who has accepted the responsibility of freedom because you continue to do your duty. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you. What are the other ones? I don't know. We always want to be respectful of those who have come out. Let me also acknowledge Angel Sylvester. Thank you so very much. Want to acknowledge Pastor Lewis Sidney. Forgive us for a very thin desk. And we certainly want to acknowledge the first class Grand Mount again for himself. First class, this belongs to you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Get a picture.
And okay. You're getting two of these, my friend.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And we will thank you very much. I want to end before we lay the wreath as I began. And that is to remind us of where we are today and to be able to leave you with not only my words, but the words of so many. My words are, their sacrifice of death should never be forgotten, never to be dismissed, never to be ignored, and never, never to be trampled on, but always remembered and always honored. I wish to leave you with the words of General Schwarzkopf. It doesn't take a hero to order men into battle. It takes a hero to be one of those men who goes into battle. We have seen this with those who've been willing to sacrifice and give their lives for our country. We know that freedom requires a historic and major responsibility. This journey that we take now, having lost our fellow Americans to a pandemic, requires each of us to take a major responsibility. In the course of that responsibility, we are so fortunate to have standing by us the men and women that wear the uniform. If you've seen them as I have seen them, delivering food, stacking boxes in those in need of food, helping the timid in testing sites, sterilizing places where we have to go, refusing no order, but standing and saying, "Send me." That is why we come today, to honor as well, and more importantly, those who have fallen, those who no longer live, because they said to their nation, "Send me." And we're grateful for them and their sacrifice. We remember and honor. We thank their families for what they have done. And they are living in another place. They are in another place. But aren't they as well honored to see those who now wear the uniform standing ready to serve and to be able to sacrifice their life, if necessary, in the freedom and name of this nation? It is important for us to honor this day, Memorial Day. Before we lay the wreath, we will take a moment of silence that will honor those who have fallen and those who have served and those who are serving. Amen. We'd ask our wonderful Mr. Little to come forward so that he can do the appropriate, wonderful, amazing grace. If he could come. As he does so, let me ask the mayor to be joined by the state representative and the council member, State Representative Eastman, Council Member Robinson. Can I have... So, would you select one person to carry this as we follow you, and one of your very fine leaders to carry that? We will lay this on the back. Let me get his name. Sergeant Ibarra. A privilege for you to serve and for you to carry the wreath. These wreaths will be in honor of the fallen and in honor of the men and women that serve. Remember and honor. Remember and honor. If you would. Mr. Little will now play Amazing Grace. We'll wait this week. Sergeant Major, you want to come? May I have our sergeant come in? Thank you. You want to take the picture? Yeah, you can go around. Allow me to thank all of you who have come, who have socially distanced, who have honored those who have fallen. Thank you for joining us. To our virtual audience, I hope that you've had a moment of reflection on the greatness of this nation and the greatness of those who fell in battle. My final word is in tribute to those families who continue to suffer with pain today of the loss of their loved ones. And we're reminded of our Gold Star families every single day. That is the tribute we wish to give to them, and we want them to know that their loved ones lost, their sacrifice will never be trampled on, never diminished, never forgotten.